If you want to edit faster within LumaFusion, keep watching. I want to share with you 6 things that I've found within the app that have improved my editing process, and I want to share those with you so that way you guys can edit videos faster. Now, if you're new to the channel, we believe you can make an impact on people's lives through smartphone video. So if you want to learn smartphone filmmaking, join the mobile creator revolution and subscribe today. Let's begin. So tip number 1 is to use color presets. Now, this is especially helpful if you film in the exact same area, or maybe you batch recorded a whole bunch of videos in one specific spot, or maybe you went through the whole video and you already trimmed it all up and you forgot to apply color grading effects. I've done that a handful of times. So what you can do is when you click on a certain video and you go through and you apply all your different color corrections to it and whatnot, and apply your vignette and whatnot, you can actually save your presets to use later. So for example, I made this preset called Alley because I shot a lot of videos there. If I click on that, it applies all the color effects that I have here. So everything I did from brightness and contrast to adding filmic delog to adding my vignette, etc. It's all there and it's all saved. So what I then can do is, instead of going over to this video and having to manually fix it, I can click on it, click presets down below, click Alley, and there I go. It's applied, and I can go through all my clips and do that. Tip number 2 is to use text presets. Now, this is something I discovered like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So let's say we are going to make a new text overlay, and let's click on it. Now, normally I would just click on the text, I'd click on the settings over here, and I'd go through and adjust it, add the shading behind my text, change the font, etc. But you don't need to do that. You can actually, once you have it all saved, you can click that star plus button again on the right side, and you can save a text preset. So as you can see, I actually have 2 saved up here. One of them is down below. It's got my font, it's got the shadow behind it, and another one is up here in this corner. So you can have all these saved and you can access them right away. So instead of going through and having to fix all your text settings over and over and over again for every piece of text that you make, you can have the preset font and the shadow right there that you can click on. Tip number 3 is to use text transitions. Now, something I did stupidly for a super long time is, if I wanted my text to slide to the left or slide to the right onto the screen, I would do keyframes, where I would put a keyframe off screen and then scroll over, put a keyframe on screen, so that way the text can move back and forth. You don't have to do that. If you click the plus button at the beginning and click transition, you can transition it over. So for example, let me zoom in here. I'm going to shorten this transition to 20, and then I'll click presets, and you have all these transitions that you can apply to text. And let's say I want to do slide left. So now when I click play, the text slides right onto camera, and I don't have to use darn keyframes. Now, maybe this is something everyone knows about, and I just discovered it 2 weeks ago, but don't do keyframes on your text. Just apply a transition to the text, and it works perfectly fine, and it'll save you so much time, so you don't have to worry about keyframing everything and getting it at the right speed. Tip number 4 is to trim with the scissors. So instead of trying to grab a clip and drag it with your finger, that doesn't work. It takes way too long. So what works better is to just align where you want the trim to begin, click the scissors, delete the old clip, and move on. By using the scissors instead of using your finger, once you get into the habit of doing that, you'll eventually be able to speed through your LumaFusion editing and be able to scroll through, trim, and before you know it, you have your whole clip trimmed up, ready to go, and you can get on to adding the different effects into your video. So don't use your finger on the side, just use the scissors to trim. Tip number 5 is that double tap reverts to original. So for example here, let's say I clip on this video and I want to do a zoom in and then a zoom out using keyframes. So I'll make a keyframe, scroll over a little bit, do a zoom in on my face, and then a little bit later I want to zoom out. Now normally what I would do at this point is I'd go over here and I'd change the size, and then I'd have to change the position axis to get it lined up and try to move it over and try and straighten out that way. But you don't have to do that. If you just double tap on one of these bars, it'll automatically revert it back to 0. And there you go. It's already lined up and you don't have to move it around. So if you double tap on those settings on the right side, it reverts it back to the original. So you don't have to try and get it just right or try to move those little arrows. Just double tap, reverts it back to original. Now, if you are editing stuff on your iPhone or iPad, chances are you are filming with your iPhone and iPad. We actually have playlists over here that can help you improve your smartphone filmmaking. So be sure to check out those playlists, consume that content, improve your filmmaking skills, and I'll see you guys in the next video.